There we go. Hello, hello. I'm testing a whole bunch of stuff out on my end, so forgive any scuffness. I think I'm too loud. Hang on, let me tweak that a bit. Okay, so I think. Oh no! Okay, yeah, that's still way too high. Who knew? My gain was actually louder than I thought. My game was actually louder than I thought. Test. Where it's gonna be a work in progress, okay? So bear with me, dear viewer. Let's try setting everything like this. I'm gonna listen to the audio on my end. Okay, I think it's honestly okay. I think I'm fine. Alright, let's start experimenting with exactly how fine am I. Am I fine or am I fine? The sponsor of today. I'm kidding. That's a joke. I am not sponsored for any of this, but I did buy a new audio interface from Fine to try out because it actually has a mute button, unlike my old one. So the hope is that it's a little bit less jank. But allow me to stop teasing you and jump right on into the goal of today's stream. Let me pull it up. Alright, I think I'm ready. Alright, with the music change, I'm prepared. Oh, wrong one. Oh, okay, correct one. Hello. I'm Pablo Corvius, cyberspace scientist, and today, we're trying something out. And by something, I mean, it was a little loud. Yeah, about, no, I should keep that static. That's good. And then just lower in my ear. There we go. Okay. So, the things I wanted to try out. A, I'm actively distracted because I am listening to a stream in the background, which is wonderful. And also, I've now just received a text. Oh my god. Okay. Less distraction, more focus. I decided I had a cold sweat and I wanted to work through a whole bunch of content and information. And by that, I mean show you how I've overhauled a lot of what I was going for my little original design plan here. Not too much has changed, but it's enough for me to walk through. Enough that I feel I should walk through it. So let's start with the first notable tweak of mine. And that first notable tweak will come in the form of me just opening Visual Studio. Where's my workspace? There it is. Oh no, I had a terrible idea. Nope, don't get distracted. I'm already doing one thing. One thing at a time. This is such a bad idea, but I did it anyway. Okay. On to less bad ideas. I need to go into my workspaces. Yeah. Touch pour. Yes, this is what I want. Okay. Bam. Look at that. Already nice and open. Wow. Sorry, just had to make sure I look tired. Am I actually that tired, or is it just where I'm looking? Could be either or. But we have now done one minor tweak that we'll introduce to. And the first of those tweaks is the plugin I'm developing has altered its core responsibilities. So, and let me continue to open up my code projects to illustrate what I'm talking about here. Open up solution. Not that. Okay, there we go. Why is it defaulting to the wrong folder every time? It's only mildly annoying. Programming workspaces. Yes, Visual Studio. And I just called it Okay, we need 2 projects in order to illustrate what's been done here. So, in this original orchestration of architecture, we still have a little phone app. We still have the main touch portal application, which let's get running so all this works. But what's changed here is this is no longer going to be called specifically the Cyberspace Crusade CC plugin. I've made it a bit more generic, where now it's just a WebSocket client plugin. So what does that mean actually? What's the difference? The difference is, where's the text details again? I always forget this. There we go. The difference now being that the goal of this plugin functionality is actually just to entirely act as a form of WebSocket client. So what it does is it provides a generic little, let me show you, a generic entry.tp, which is just about sending information via send message. And by the way, this architecture inspiration and copy was done from an existing plugin called, I believe, generic WebSockets for touch portal. That was horrific spelling, but yep, it came up. By Iofi TFF. So big shout out, big recommendation. It's under the MIT license and everything, but the way she orchestrated this plugin was interesting to me, because the way her plugin worked was actually just to provide generic WebSockets to touch portal. So you would just add in an entry TP with a singular option that would allow you to just create a little custom WebSocket client that would then reach out to wherever you sent it to, tries to send messages, and then shuts itself down if that doesn't work. I liked that architecture, and I realized it's effectively what my old version was doing. Actually, okay, here's something I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate this. So, okay, yeah. So I can actually Control Z, or just have like an original version. So CC plugin is the only thing I changed here. For reference. CNC workflow. Current. Oh, I can't use that. We'll just use the current. But I realized that my actual plugin, all it was doing was effectively the same thing, but in a more locked down fashion, where instead I'd have to make a new entry TP little entry here for each reach out I wanted to do from touch portal. So I'd have to make a unique CncMachine effect here, have to make a whole plugin for that, which was a different script, and have it access some more fundamental WebSocket functionality. But what I had an epiphany for was, really all this entry TP is going to do is it should, under the hood, call that singular touch portal system. I'm sorry, that singular WebSocket client system. So here, like, I would add in a new action similar to what it was before, like the CncMachine effect. But all it would actually be doing is calling this exact same ID of data message, send message, and data message, the core message and the destination for where I want to send it. And it should just go inside of this client plugin, this WebSocket client plugin, which handles managing a whole bunch of WebSockets. Also, I just decided to download this sample from the Touch Portal C# SDK directly, so that should help streamline a lot of things, because now it's no longer that weird hybridization I was doing before. I just started it with basically the better SDK. But since it's been started on this SDK, okay. I have a little Visual Studio option I put here to automatically fold all tabs, and I realized because I'm not on my personal Visual Studio that didn't carry over, so I have to manually close all these. Off stream, I will be integrating that button because I love it so much, because I hate doing exactly what I'm doing right now, because it's just so tedious. I need on action event, but I need to close everything else that's not that. In fact, I don't need any of this anymore. That's from a previous experiment. Collapse. Okay. So on action entry, and also added this remove client entry function, which we'll get to later. all actions that I do should end up funneling back into this core functionality, really. So an action ID could be different, where, oh, the action ID I passed in was called like the Cyberspace Crusade machine effect. Just call this one on the back end, but pre-fill in things like the data and the destination that I'm going to. That's the general workflow I probably want for this. So to emphasize that even more, I'm going to take all of this code, I'm going to extract it. Maybe not all this, because this is me extracting components from the data itself to see if I can get them. Everything beneath it should be extracted though. Zip up to here. We're gonna refactor extract this method. Hello? Hello? Refactoring's extract method? Yay? Nay? Maybe? Why isn't it working? This isn't even me thing, this is a Visual Studio thing. Let me refactor. Okay, since it decides that, I guess IntelliSense is sleeping on the job. Void, what do I want to call this? Because all of this is the core for like handle WebSocket. So handle WebSocket action. And it's going to require two parameters, being that message data and that client data. So let's grab this all just before the break. Yep. I don't like the way it's oriented for some reason. It feels off to me. Just like a weird minor thing, I guess. We're going to be passing in the address and message data. And any other TP or entry TP option I provide should just be a wrapper around calling this function, because all functionality should just be this one web function for handling WebSockets. So what is it actually doing? Well, first it makes sure it checks this list of clients, which is just a dictionary that contains an address that we're pointing to and individual WebSocket client instance class that I've created, and sees, do we already have a WebSocket for this connection? If we do, we just grab that WebSocket, log what we're about to do, and then we start sending the information we want, which I've labeled send chunks very descriptively. Oh, okay. So the way I have it logged is I'm expecting the original message in order to log that information. This logger can go up a stage. We'll put it here. Yep. Totally fine. So, handle WebSocket interactions. All of that is nice and dandily done from here. I'm sorry, 1 second. Playing my things, but I mean I'm watching a Twitch stream while streaming, because I am only the biggest professional. Okay, so back to the core of what I was discussing. In terms of handling WebSocket interactions, this checks to see if one exists. If it doesn't, we're going to create this little WebSocket instance. We're going to try to connect to it via an address and pass in that remove client entry function we mentioned before. All this means is if that WebSocket ever goes down, we're going to call back this function and actually handle removing the client from our little dictionary list, because WebSocket can go down at any point, theoretically, if a closed message is sent or an error happens. So just clean up the list if you ever go down. And then we're caching the results for did it successfully connect or not. If it didn't connect, throw in an error or throw some information and just kill this. So we're stopping that entire button click interaction flow. If it did connect though, then add it to our dictionary, log what happened, and then move on to sending the actual information that we want, which we're going to be sending in chunked out sections. Every interaction we do via TP is not going to be going to its own plugin anymore. It's all actually going to be going into just this blue WebSocket control plugin. And in that, there are tinier flows. They're like, oh, that's like where specifically this entry TP goes, which just comes outward. And even like this smaller entry little flow in that switch statement just continues to flow outward. But it uses this core WebSocket entry TP technology to handle doing everything it actually needs to do. It does so nice, cleanly, and reproducibly, generically. And then from there, they're able to exit out into orbit beautifully as they sail on to a majestic future. Are these arrows connected? Okay, they are. I need to connect this again to that. You connected again? Nope, I broke that connection. Darn. Oh, okay, that's how I connect it. Okay, so right now it's connected. Okay, I just want to move it slightly, but keep it connected, please. Please. Connection, please. Okay, I think it's because it's too deep in the circle. Oh, it adjusted itself. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, that's what I want. So really, this is how the architecture has changed. We've gone from individual plugin scripts in this larger plugin coming down to the WebSocket service, to the WebSocket service actually basically being the whole plugin with specifically predefined pathways on that WebSocket service. That way I don't have to write in every individual address or individual message. If this is a generic repeatable function, I can just add an entry TP entry and then just add a little preset bit of code for this very commonly used process. Then it exits out and does the exact same thing as before. So to prove this flow, I've cannibalized our previous plugin that handled, being specifically for Cyberspace Crusade, and this is entirely just for demonstrative purposes. But this entire plugin has now just been reduced to being a vessel to carry this test WebSocket server that I found a very wonderful generic example for on this GitHub link by Paul Badham. Oh, Paul Badham. I misread that dramatically. A Microsoft engineer. He literally shows a couple different ways in order to handle creating WebSocket servers using different systems. I'm doing a hybridization of its HTTP listener WebSocket ecosystem with the with the ASP.NET chat system. So really I'm using a console application echoer, but I'm passing in text, which I formatted from the ASP.NET chat. So that's two repos that we're pulling from in order to get exactly what we want. So, and by going through this, I had to understand it line by line, modify it. A lot of his comments are already useful, especially if I want to come back to this later to look at. And some of these comments were added by me as well, but I really and generally enjoy all of this. And there's a level of like dynamic HTML documentation that can be generated. I have just left that disabled because I don't need that for my system. So in this case, even though, again, wonderful work done by Noko, okay, not to dismiss anyone's work who I'm building off of from here, I just don't need these. Well, explaining how to do even further with more articles. Okay, that's interesting. All right, I'm going to open this up. I'm just going to keep it on the side. I have to log into Microsoft Dev Blogs. It's either that or this blog is just dead. So I clicked on that link and I got like this. It's not actually logging in or not. I just removed the WordPress.login. Yeah, no, it's not happening. I don't think his blog is up anymore. A shame. Oh, that's the Mishop song. Very nice. By the way, I'm listening to Game Chops in case anyone's curious. It's a wonderful 24/7 video game cover streaming little YouTube channel. You should check it out. I love their covers. That's why I put them on the background of my streams all the time. But we have the server, and I'm not going to go super in depth because I'm going to have to go over the server again when I really migrate it into my Unity application. For now, we can just take for granted this server works. So I'm going to run it. Program.cs goes through. it builds all the little systems, but that's the singleton for the server, and all it does at the end is grab the server and then run it. So now we have our WebSocket server running, listening in on everything we're doing, just like my NSA agent. But now we're going to test out a real little workflow. So we're going to come over to our WebSocket plugin, and oh, I have to install it again. Okay, you know what? I appreciate that. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to open my little WebSocket client plugin here. Reveal in File Explorer, or Folder Explorer. There we go. So I've already set aside an extra TP and config.txt file like we discussed before. This is an empty touch portal plugin application, so it'll just allow me to upload it, and it'll just run off of the server that I have to run externally. I'm going to compress it, turn it into another TPP. Wonderful, my TPP to the rescue. And then we're just going to slap it into the touch portal. I am going to have to change these though, because I no longer have that. I no longer need the Cyberspace Crusade plugin. I could keep it though. I'm not going to. Alrighty. It's running. It looks like the import's working, but usually when it hangs like this, that means I did something wrong. Okay, something went wrong. So I think I might have like misformatted the entry.tp or something. So let's check out if I did or didn't. And no, I don't need an updated Notepad++ right now. I'm going to use a JSON validator. Because the issue is if I like miss a single curly brace, it'll just hang like this and it won't tell me why. Yep, so I invalidated part of the JSON. Let me show you. So there's an extra curly brace here on configuration. Or maybe, oh. Did I just accidentally I fat fingered a copy paste somewhere? Entry TP. Yeah, I just fat fingered this. This was me copying the link. Oh, okay. Removes the little dotted line if the JSON's not valid. That's one way for me to see. Cool, cool. Cool. I'm going to put this to the side in case I need it again. So I'm going to 7-zip my little project file here. Make it a TPP once more. TPP. Yes, install. Oh my god, it's going again. It's going again. Meaning I didn't fix it the first time. Should have double checked. Okay. Oh, JSON validator, help me. Where else is invalid? Was it like this? Okay, fuck me. Alright. There we go. Valid entry TPP. And now we're gonna do it again. Choo-choo. Now it should just work, barring any more missing commas. I at least appreciate the fact that I can tell what's wrong at a glance, but, you know, having another JSON validator in here would be nice. Unfortunately, I put in the wrong one. Oh, I hate myself. So the issue is because this is a .tp file and not like a .json, most JSON validators out the box I'd have to reconfigure for this file format in order to like add that level of JSON checking for me. I've just not bothered to do that. And I have to do it for both my personal and for my stream setup. So you know what? We're just going to be lazy and raw dog it. But hey, look at that. There are my WebSocket clients. We're going to send a message, delete that action. And currently I need a content of string to send. So I'm going to send a Good old little howdy there. We're not going to keep scrolling and just not say howdy. We're going to copy over the IP and port address that I decided to run the server on. So I believe I just hard-coded that for the sake of demonstration. But yes, it's localhost, this port, this endpoint. There we go. And the HTTP is not going to be duplicated because HTTP is how the server is being run on an HTTP protocol, but the WebSocket server, or the WebSocket client, is actually going to access it via a WS protocol, because that's the indicator to do the handshake and shift it on over to WebSockets instead of HTTP. Which is what it's doing here. It's doing the WS, and it's going to take in that first parameter value, assuming it's been filled. And if it's not valid, it'll just put in this little null thing, meaning it's not going to connect, and the WebSocket will just explode later on. And then we're going to pass in the message data, which again assumes it'll be filled by that parameter. If not, it'll just pass in the string called null. So we're going to run it. And it looks like, yep, looks like it ran. And right now we have both. So let me show you. We have both the WebSocket server and a manager for our clients up. So I'm going to open up Touch Portal on my phone. And from there, I am going to handle pressing the thumbs up button, because the thumbs up button has the message howdy there, and we're sending it to our WebSocket server. So thumbs up, and bam, we can see the whole workflow that happens. So the moment I click it, we're broadcasting the fact that we're doing something. I'm not too sure where this broadcast comes from, but I should check. So we first see that there is no existing client for that address. So then we create one. We save that info. We then say we found that client because we just created it. And then we proceed to do our on-press action, send a message, and we send in to this address the message howdy there. Then our server handles a process, so it sees, okay, this is the first thing we're processing. It accepts it. We're going to attempt to send it back. It checks to see the status of its personal WebSocket, which is open. It checks to see, oh, hey, is the thing that I received a text? It is, which is a valid thing it can handle. Then it says it received the message howdy there. And on the server's time, it handles actually sending back that exact same message. So then we see in green text, we get the info. We've received about 23 bytes worth of data, and it said, you said howdy there, because our server adds on the bit of information of what you said to it. So it'll give back the message you said, and then it pastes on what it received, which was the message howdy there. Welcome to our basic baby WebSocket connection, which works out for the most part. Yeah, that's about it, to be honest. The only other part to do now is to migrate over this server code and just copy paste this over into Unity. And then assuming Unity can do it and I can set up my little URL correctly, we can have Unity logging information and reacting to things I press in Touch Portal. And once more, this can be expanded to anything I want to control via WebSocket. So if it's the expression system in my game, if it's the CncMachine, which is what I built this for, or it could be, for instance, Warudo has an open WebSocket plugin. So now I can control Warudo using the exact same system, because I'm just generically blasting out WebSockets. I could change this to any URL I wanted to, and it would go somewhere else. And likewise, if I can actually show this live. If I go ahead and give it an invalid URL, so nothing exists on this port with that endpoint, if I go ahead and try to run it again with a thumbs up, you'll see it never reached this server. Instead, it threw an exception because that URL was not specified. It then promptly kills that little WebSocket, and then it says what it tried to do, but it never actually even got to the point of sending that WebSocket. It just killed it. Which is good. That's intended behavior. And then we're going to swap it back. This is a really cool thing I appreciate about kind of using these networking technologies. I can just do this little change live and see it reflected by just pressing it again. So howdy once again. And if all goes to plan, it should find that existing WebSocket we already made and then send it to the server. So it received it. If I click kind of enter instead and unfreeze the server, it continues. Actually, that was even cooler. So we sent it off to the server and it actually held it at the end where it said we successfully did it. We allowed the server to continue by hitting enter. It received it, displayed it back, and then sent it back to us with "you said howdy" once again. Wonderful. Works like magic. We've set up this little relaying of WebSockets, my little virtual antenna, and now I'm going to actually go into Unity and attach the things that I've built. And I might save that for an entirely different stream, because this is really just a little update on some random things I was messing about with throughout the day, and we'll see. Honestly, though, here's the thing I want to test. Here's the real question. I want to see how well I wrote that little server.cs. And by how well I wrote, I mean how well, not really how well the Microsoft guy wrote it, or how well Paul wrote it, but it would, what I'm curious about, what I think should happen, is this is built entirely with just normal, like, C#.NET technologies, and it was built for a version of .NET old enough that I'm pretty sure Unity supports it. What version of .NET does Unity support? It supports the .NET 2.1 standard, which is actually really good, because I believe basically all versions of .NET moving forward from a while ago, I believe like .NET 4, are all target the .NET 2.0 or 2.1 standard. So this definitely targets that standard. The Touch Portal SDK, for reference, also targets that standard. So, and again, the server code was written 13 years ago, which I'm pretty sure they were still targeting that standard back then. So let me go ahead and test that fact. First, let me open up where the server's located. Not there. You have to open in File Explorer all the way up here. Oh, there we go. Server.cs. So I'm just going to straight up copy paste over that server.cs file. And the issue is I'll need a Unity model behavior in order to actually trigger it. But I think just copy pasting it over, there shouldn't be any errors with that. Where did I put the CncMachine code? There it is. So if I take a step up, we're in this. Let's just copy paste over this server.cs and give it a bit of compile, and there should be 0 errors. That's not 0. Okay, but that's an understandable error. The issue is that it has task, and I believe task comes specifically from what was the library task comes from? Is it system.net? I think so. I thought it was threading. Yeah, system.threading. And I believe that is an external library I have to manually tell Unity to inherit from. Should just be a base C# system, right? Oh, wait. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna have to do something slightly different. The reason I say that is because... What? Okay, it seems to not know where a lot of stuff is. Okay, so obviously it doesn't need console. I get that. I understand that. Because Unity doesn't use the same console. It's not a headless application. Where it exists outside the terminal. Interlocked. That also seems to have no context. Console, mostly just seem to be referenced to console, which can of course be scrubbed. Even though I believe system.console is actually supported. Yeah, cancellation token does exist. System.threading, there we go. So now it should be inheriting from that, which is good. Array segment, where does this come from? System. Gen task also come from system.threading. Okay, system.threading.tasks. And there we go. Now we just imported all the relevant libraries. So some of these might be included in Unity by default or organized under different libraries, but they all still exist. There we go. Wait a minute. Something's a bit off here. I don't think my server actually was on port 80 WS demo. I thought I changed that port. For my server. Touch portal WebSocket client. It should be this one. This server.cs. Oh! I think I copied over the vanilla one. Like unmodified for anything. That's a little hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, because this is for program main and everything. Okay, so let's... Probably gonna have to redo some of what I just did, but let's copy over the actual correct version of the server, the one I'd worked on for that demonstration. I don't even need to replace the console.write lines. Yeah. Okay, that's funny. Wait, what? Why is this... Hello? Am I going insane? Okay, class program. I don't need program. I shouldn't be looking at this. Program is not needed here. Program would be if, again, I was writing this headless and it was starting from here. But I could add a mod over here. Nah, not in here. This class will remain independent. Really, it could even be static, because I don't think it has... There's never going to be more than one of these, I think. Theoretically, I could have a different WebSocket on a different endpoint to say, hey, point to like these functionalities. But for now, I think this is just going to be static. There's going to be one like WebSocket server service. And we just pass in different messages to it to do different things. Because otherwise, I could have like a WebSocket service. Let's go back to the diagram. We could actually have a different WebSocket service just for like CncMachine, pointing to like this, and it comes out from here. Or it'd be more like the arrow would actually come out to like this one, and then one for like a different unique version. But we don't need to do that. Matter of fact, it's of so. Oh no, I think I borked it. Oh no. It's of so little consequence to do so that, realistically, I'm not even going to bother drawing the modeling for it. So yeah, it's all going to go through this, which means that class should be static. This should instead be part of the CNC machine namespace. Well, props.CNC machine. Now we're just going to run through and add static to literally everything. Wait a minute, I just realized it actually declared an instance of itself before. Which is a little funny. Oh, another thing we're going to have to do is we're going to be changing up how a lot of these async methods are just kind of listed and labeled. Any other errors? Oh, my giant little preview thing is gone. Normally there's like the kind of like overview for how your code looks on the right hand side. I should figure out how to get that back at some point. That point is not right now. Okay, so let's wrap that up. Uh-oh. Oh, no, damn it. I hate it. I hate it when Windows does that, where I shake a window a little too hard, then it closes literally every window. Okay. Click back. It's compiled. It's fine. But what I do need is a C# model behavior script in order to actually handle interfacing with this. I'll call this machine events. No, the CncMachine itself should be referencing it. Yes, it should. The machine behavior. Because what I planned for the machine behavior. Sorry, open window on the other end. Oh no, it closed my stream windows too. Oh no. Let me get those back. There we go. Yep, now I can see everything that's happening. I don't need the validator anymore. Go away. I don't need the get anymore. I can make that go away. And then we've got our good old everything we need. Including the other Twitch stream I'm watching in the background. But I've moved it over. Now it's time to use it. So on start, I want server to call its start method, which I believe I call just start server instead of just start, because just start's kind of the same fucking thing. Just make this not public. There's no reason to make this public. Where's it referenced? Yeah, start server. So we're even going to make this more specific and call it a WebSocket server. So we start it as soon as the CncMachine itself starts, which is good. If I could be extra flavorful, I'd love to open up a little terminal on the side, so that way I can still see what's going on inside of it. Can I do that in Unity? Unity, open up a terminal. Let's make a button inside the Unity editor. Systems diagnostics to accomplish this. Because I'm just going to open up a whole, say execute commands. I guess if we do process.start, it can access a command and then it'll open up a terminal that way, but that would only be if I had this already as like a built executable. That's fine, it's fine. There is one change I am going to make though. Well, a few changes obviously. So change number 1. This needs events. So instead of just mindlessly echoing back whatever the client gives to us, so in this example, this is what happens when we actually get valid text, and let's make that way more obvious by extracting this method. Refactoring is going to work with me now. Apparently not. It just doesn't want to work with me today. Call this static method handle, I guess process incoming text. I'm just gonna need a couple different variables to work. I get that. Wait, what? Oh, because it's not actually in the namespace. So let's move all of this down a peg. Yep. So what does it need? Receive result, which is a WebSocket receive result. Val, nope. And it also needs an int called max message size, and then a WebSocket, which I believe is literally just called a WebSocket. Yeah, it's just the class WebSocket. Yep, so a WebSocket called WebSocket. Oh, it needs to be async as well because it can be awaited. Is receive buffer the last thing it needs? It is. Okay. What is receive buffer again? It is a array of bytes. A byte array. A byte to eat, meet a byte array. And then we're just going to await all of this. All this gets awaited. So what are all the things it needs? receive results, max message size, my WebSocket. I keep hitting period. Oh my god, please. And then my receive buffer. Awesome. Why are you still complaining? I'm sorry. Task. Not void. Task. Which I'm going to change to be unitask anyway, because I have a specific library in order to actually handle doing async operations called unitask, which is just a Unity wrapper to make tasks single-threaded concurrent, because I really don't need multi-threading for this. I don't think anyway. I could also just change it back to normal task. We're going to run it like this anyway to start with. Yep, we await handling processing incoming text. We process all this. These comments are actually a little too fucking big because this is just blocking a lot of segments of code. I think I am going to start trimming these. Yeah, I don't think I actually need these. And then this defines a whole bunch of other stuff. So protocol just defines must be sent. Just do normal closure in a minute. Yeah, I don't need it to be this descriptive. It's great for a tutorial to learn, but when it's code, I know what it does and I have to look at it constantly. That's gonna get annoying very quickly. Nope. Okay. The comments are still gonna. They're still gonna get to me over time, okay? But we'll see how long that takes. So we're now processing incoming tasks. We're handling all that. What we actually need is a static event holder. So really a static action. Yep. And call this on, well, an action that passes in a string. On message received. And then we're just going to invoke this whenever we actually have to handle processing incoming text. So once we receive the end of message, we can be sure we now know exactly what we've gained for this received string. We're no longer going to do the echoing, okay, because we don't need to. We could. I might keep the echoing. But really, the real point is to invoke it with receive string. This is what Unity can actually hook onto and interact with. So with that, CncMachine can now do its work. Also, this should be running awake. This is more awake tier stuff. We should just run before start. Because for CncMachine, I also want serialize a new Unity event, so that way I can hook up stuff all nice and neatly through the editor. On WebSocket interaction. There you go. Compulsively leaving a comment on a different stream while streaming. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I just really wanted to get this stream out, though. I did. I wanted to talk about the thing I'm doing. Normally, I would just be doing this probably off stream, but it's better I stream the process, the madness, for other people to partake in. Because I already did a bunch of work off stream today. Okay, I guess on WebSocket and on the WebSocket message. Yes, message. I'm so fucking distracted because I'm looking at the other stream. Ah, so bad, so bad. Okay. On WebSocket message, we're going to invoke this. Where are we going to invoke this? No, we're going to subscribe to our WebSocket server with this. Does that know how I subscribe? How do I subscribe? Oh, because it needs the string. I can't implicitly convert it. Is there a way so I can auto-convert it explicitly? Because it's basically the same type of thing. I can just wrap it in a delegate, I guess. Sure, let's just wrap it in a delegate for now until I figure out the express way to do it. So string, message. I love wrapping stuff in delegates. It's the biggest cheat code in the world. Okay, is this valid? No, I should be hitting invoke. Yep, so now I'm just wrapping it through 2 different layers of abstraction to get the event across. There's probably a cleaner way to do this where I can actually have a Unity event subscribe to an action, because I'm pretty sure Unity event is effectively just a wrapper around an action under the hood, really. But I don't actually know, I had to look at the source code for it. Bam, there it goes. Can I turn this into an action? I can turn it to a Unity action. I'm pretty sure a Unity action is, again, a wrapper around just an action, but I don't have access to that code. Okay, so that's good. So we have on received, it does everything it needs to do. And anything I add onto the Unity event will now be added on to whenever I actually receive a message. So what I also want to add is processing to that message. So this core WebSocket service, again, anything that I want. I don't think I actually need to subscribe external events necessarily, but I'll leave that on anyway, because what I do want is a function specifically for the CncMachine. So this is a public void process WebSocket message. And this is not even going to do anything fancy yet. Yet being the important word. Right now, this is just going to do a debug.log to show it's even running. So debug.log received message. A little message. Bam. And we're of course going to subscribe this on start. Yep. So now I think all that should happen is that I can just hit play on the Unity project. And this will just work. Assuming I set everything up correctly. It's compiling? I think it all compiled. Okay, now here's... It'd be nice for me to know more explicitly that the WebSocket is actually running. The WebSocket server. But I can't see logs normally. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to operate on a little bit of faith. And by that, I mean everything else is currently off. I no longer need the Cybersecurity Crusade Touch Portal old project, because that's only mimicking what the Unity server is now doing itself. We're going to run the plugin client. All the pieces are coming together. So we've got the plugin client, we've got Unity itself, and now I am going to press a button on Touch Portal, and that should just do... It should just connect, because it's the exact same address, right? Okay, it said howdy again, and it threw a massive error. It threw status code 400. Okay, so it didn't successfully do the WebSocket handshake. See, I believe status code 400 only works when it fails to do the WebSocket handshake. This is all the way up here, yeah. So it flagged the request as not being a WebSocket request. Why? But that means it got there. It moved over correctly. If I pressed again. Yeah, it's failing to establish connection because it can't successfully establish a WebSocket connection. But I have the valid, this would be coming back to something entirely different if this wasn't a valid, like, endpoint I was hitting. I'm hitting that endpoint. I changed it back, right? Yep, it's, localhost 7890 WebSocket demo. Secretly doesn't say demo because the window's not big enough. Maybe it was this other slash. Let's see. Nope. It is failing to do the WebSocket handshake. Why? Why oh why? Can I just throw debug.logs in here? Would that work? Okay, I can. Amazing. No, it's static. Yeah, so it has no definition. Still, it's not using it. It's using Unity engine.debug.log. Oh, wait, no, I can from a static. Okay, amazing. So this is started server. Going to deploy this message, which is not WebSocket request. I don't know why it wouldn't be a WebSocket request, though. That's strange. Very, very strange. My motion capture framework's freaking the fuck out. Oh, probably because I'm streaming to Warudo at the same time, and I probably turned it on. Okay, you can go to sleep for now. Okay, so we started the server. So we're going to restart our little web client. I'm sorry, WebSocket client. Because I'm just dropping the word socket. I keep saying it, you know? Do I need to really sock it to myself every time? Is it that important? Okay, I'm going to move the WebSocket code off screen so I can have more time to see what Unity Engine is doing. Thumbs up. Yeah, it failed to do the handshake. But I have no idea why it would fail to do the handshake, aside from it just being inside of Unity. Huh. So it's reaching it, it's communicating, but just doesn't view it as a valid handshake. It's just so weird. Because obviously the handshake is valid. It works at any other time when I'm using the WebSocket application in its independence. Is there like a specific forum maybe for what I'm looking for? It's like Unity rejects WebSocket handshake. WebGL WebSocket trouble maybe. WebSocket community. Huh. But why? Why oh why is it rejecting? So I'm reading a forum post about WebGL WebSocket issues. Not exactly one-to-one, but could help. Fix it, disable compression. I don't think this is what I need. So currently clients call each other over a local network, but I've been unable to get connections to work over other networks. WebGL is in that version are confirmed to not be working, so I've been using a custom WebSocket community transport. This that I'm discussing the process, logs, and build, and hopefully to find the right way to. I'm hoping someone can eventually point me in the right direction to fix this. Download the WebSocket transport from this. Not even existent, but it could be useful. To fix WebGL compilation errors, it was listed there. Disable compression errors, player settings, publishing, compression format disabled. For WebSocket transport component, I had secure connection set to false. HTTPS wasn't working for me. WebSocket transport component. It could be that it's because it's thinking it should be doing HTTPS. I uploaded my WebGL build to a custom GitHub Pages site under construction for the page. I need to allow insecure content since GitHub is HTTPS and the game is over HTTP. It's a WebGL instance, can't be a server. Oh, that's good. Interesting now. I need to compile a Windows version of my application. I launch a Windows version of the application as a host for my IP and use that port. I launch Windows instance on an application as host and enter my, okay, I already read that. For a different computer built on the same network, I run WebGL instance of the application on my GitHub page. Inside the client. With that, I can connect, in this case, to both players and see each other work. I restarted the Windows instance, however, on the client's computer, I switched to the network on my phone's hotspot. Then I launched the client instance of the WebGL page. This time, the client instance cannot connect and neither players can see each other. It looks like the error is just that I can't connect to the WebSocket from the client's instance. Source code of the JS WebSocket client has been made from. I'm not sure what you did, and it seems like there's no solution. Amazing. I definitely a bit strange that we need to use a standard port to work around. That's a workaround, but not a solution. However, very much thanks for your response. We'll check it out in a week or two. I found that the port specified for WebSockets matters. You should use port 80 for unsecure WebSocket connections, and 443 for secure ones. I'm able to get a LAN computer working on a WebGL build for this. I think it matters for Unity, because it didn't matter for the standalone applications, but it might matter for Unity. Oh, I fat fingered a copy paste yet again. Okay, let's try 80. Let's see if that's valid. Let's restart Unity. Now let's also restart my little... Well, really, I didn't need to restart the WebSocket plugin. All I really need to do is change the port destination on my thumbs up button to now just 80. Okay, so it's localhost 80. This was not a WebSocket request. What if I did ws.//? Oops, I think that's frozen. So I changed that thumbs up. Oh. It's getting received. Hello? Okay, so yeah, it's too many WSS. It's not even hitting it because it's an invalid URI. Which is what I think the error is giving me. Yeah, unable to connect. Let's try just a raw IP address. Just generic this machine IP address. Thumbs up. Oh. So what was the issue? Unable to connect. Okay, let's head it back to localhost. Thumbs up. Okay, so if it's specifically even the same word as localhost, it can at least reach it, but it's just failing to handshake the 101. Okay, here's something a little bit risque, but I want to try it anyway. What if I just made it always respond with the 101? Would that work? Because I know these are WebSocket requests. So I'm curious if we would find a hiccup somewhere else in the process of handling that message and throw an error. Let's restart. Again, this doesn't need to change. Thumbs up. through an error. 500. So it did run into an error somewhere deeper down the line. I came to a 500 here because I had an exception. I don't even know what exception I ran into. Do Unity engine down I, yep. Let's find out what's happening. Oh, I missed the .log. Really? This is not supported? Fine. So some smart strings here and here for E. And then let's restart Unity, and here's hoping that works. Oh, hey, Andrew. Live coding and at the same time, what will they think of next? That's the real question, you know? I'm trying to innovate. New bits and pieces of content and technology mixed together. That's what this is. I am the living blender of interesting ideas. Speaking of interesting, please, oh please, let this work. Thumbs up. Okay, it did actually spit out the error this time. And the error was system not implemented exception. And that is my little phone alarm to stop streaming. Thank you so much for coming out. If you have, I'm gonna fix this. This is bothering me, and I'm gonna fix it. What gave a not implemented exception though? It processed. It got a not implemented exception. Okay, we're gonna stop just blindly accepting non-web request accepts. We're gonna fix this, but thank you for coming out to see my wonderful web request wacky extravaganza. Well, thanks, Andrew. We're gonna fix this next time, okay? Either on or off stream, one of the two things. We're gonna fulfill this beautiful diagram, okay? We've literally gotten all the way up to this point. We have Touch Portal working, we have our entry elements coming into our WebSocket plugin, generating those clients, reaching out to the server, and we just have a unfortunate little, what would be, where's an X symbol to use? Text? A big old X blocking us here. We're gonna unblock that X, and I'll tell you all about it when we come back. But until then, bye-bye for now.